Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So welcome to today's seminar. So our goal today is we're going to talk about how to help you create a CV that stands out in project management job application and why it matters, a strong CV. So now I'll be starting, but before I start, my name is 𝗏𝗏𝗰𝗁𝗁𝗃. I've been a resume writer for the past 5 years. I'm also a job strategist and I'm based in Nigeria. So welcome on board, everybody. So now let's start. What is our goal here today? Our goal is to help you create a CV that stands out in project management job applications. Now, why does it matter? A strong CV gets you interviews, not just compliments. So before we get started, I'd just like to explain the difference between a resume and a CV. Now, firstly, I think I made a mistake. I'll just explain it briefly. So now a resume is a 1 to 2 pages. A resume is a 1 to 2 pages letter that is used to show the profile summary, the professional summary of a candidate, while a CV can be more than 1 to 2 pages. So let's move forward from there. Now, the key sections of a project management CV. The first thing you need to take note of in a resume, the first thing you will see is the header. And the header consists of the name, it consists of the title, the contact information, and the LinkedIn. What I mean by the LinkedIn is you can put your LinkedIn URL at the top of your profile. Now, the second part of your resume that is very important is your professional summary. It needs to be powerful, according to what I wrote here. 3 to 4 powerful lines is enough to show your professional summary. Kindly permit me to show us a sample of it. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So crafting a strong summary. Here is an example. It says project manager with 8+ years experience delivering high impact projects across IT and finance, skilled in agile budgeting and stakeholder engagement, certified PMP and Scrum Master. So now the first thing I want you to notice here is the years of experience. So now when you're writing your profile summary, you need to include the years of experience there if you have a significant amount of years experience. Once your years of experience is above 5 years, you can include this in your profile summary. Now, after mentioning the year, you have to mention the industry. Look at the industry here. We have IT and we have finance. That's the main industry in this example. Now, you have to mention your specialties. Number 1 there is agile. We have budgeting and stakeholder engagement. That's the specialty of the individual. And you also have to mention the PM tool, your project management tool, your certification. You can show that you're a certified PMP. You can also show that you're a Scrum Master if you are. So let's move forward. How to present your work experience. Use reverse chronological order. Start bullet points with action verbs. Led, delivered, manage. Focus on achievements, not just duties, and always quantify impact. Now, I want you to notice something here. The mistake most people make while they are writing their resume is number 1, when they are trying to when they are trying to identify their what should I call it? They are trying to identify their experience. They'll write something like manage an IT upgrade delivered early. But now look at the example we have here. It says manage a $2 million IT upgrade delivered 3 weeks early. Now you see that it is quantifiable. So whenever you're writing your resume, please make sure that it is quantifiable. Always make sure your resume is quantifiable. Don't allow mindless lifting. Once you are trying to qualify the keywords there, and focus on achievement, not just duties. Your achievements there. This is an example of an achievement. Manage a $2 million IT upgrade. It is an example of achievement, and your achievements must be quantifiable. Make sure it is quantifiable. The second example there is increased team productivity by 25% by agile implementation. Now you look at it. Another thing I want you to notice is that you don't need to repeat the action verbs. Like once you have one action verb in one bullet point, you don't need to repeat it in the second bullet points. Now you see this one, manage a $2 million IT upgrade. You can also say it in the second bullet point, that manage team productivity. Yes, you can say that, but the reason why you won't say that is because if you repeat action verbs in your resume, it will affect the ATS score. Now, let me just briefly explain what ATS means. ATS is Applicant Tracking System. And ATS is used by recruiting companies to filter out resumes. Once job seekers use their resumes to apply for jobs, depending on the role, then the ATS machine will be tailored to that particular role that people are applying for. Then they will use it to scan the resume. Once they use it to scan the resume, if this ATS score is below 70%, once it is below 70%, I can't guarantee you getting an interview. But once your ATS score is above 70%, then definitely you can get an interview. Now let's move forward. Now, be ATS friendly. Number one, you should use keywords from the job ad. Now, one thing I always do is my clients, whenever they tell me to tailor their resume for job application, I always tell them to provide me their job description, the job description they want to apply for. Each company, they have their job description. So I'll tell my clients that they should send it to me. Once they send it to me, I'll make sure with the help of AI, I will filter out the keywords that I can use to tailor the resume according to the job description given to me. So once I do that, it will make the resume ATS friendly. Number two, stick to plain formatting, no graphics or tables. Now, this is where most people make mistake. They believe that once they want to write their resume, they have to make it beautiful, they have to make it colorful, they have to add tables under it. So this is where they are making mistake. You don't need to design your resume to be beautiful or anything like that. You don't need that. What you need to do is make your resume concise. You need to make it straightforward and presentable. After we're done with this presentation, I'll show you an example of what it should look like. So now, save as PDF unless asked otherwise. Of course, we all know what a PDF file is. You can also save as a Word doc. But please, when you're applying for jobs, don't use a Word doc file to apply. Always make sure you use a PDF file. Now, use clear section headings. Your heading must be clear and concise. Don't use something that's beyond what you need to use. Your heading, let's say, for example, profile summary. Make it profile summary. No need for you to add something like professional summary, career highlights, or whatever. You can just put summary there. So don't add any additional info that will make your resume look jam-packed. So now, things to avoid. You have to avoid logos. Now, I mentioned it earlier when I was talking about sticking to the plain formatting. Now, logos, don't put any logo on your resume, please. Once you're applying for a job and you want to use a resume, please don't put logos. Don't put fancy fonts. Some people, they use fancy fonts that are, fancy. They believe that if their resume is fancy, then it will get them the job. People have a lot of things to say about getting a job. They'll tell you that if your resume is beautiful, you can get a job. But the point is that your resume does not need to be beautiful for you to get a job. Now, another point here is the header or footer info. The header or footer info, it means something like, let's say, for example, some people adding, what should I say? Some people, they usually add their personal information to their resume. What do I mean by personal information? They usually add their age, they add their country of residence and stuff like that. I won't advise you to add something like that to your resume. You don't need to add those things to your resume. It is not necessary. Once you are undergoing interview, all these questions will be asked by the recruiter. So you can answer them, but you don't need to include those things in your resume. And another thing, let me just add this extra thing. Most people, they usually add reference to their resume. It is good, but it is not advisable. Once you have your resume, you can just do something we call available upon request. You can just put it in your reference section that's available upon request, because adding your reference is not really necessary. Because once you get the interview, they can ask you for the reference there and you provide it. That's why you can include it in the reference section that's available upon request. Now, moving forward, must have skills for project management resume. You must have leadership and team management skills. You must have risk and change management skills, stakeholder engagement skills, budget and cost control skills, sorry about that, reporting and KPIs skills, Agile, Scrum, waterfall. Bonus, include skills relevant to specific job. So now, once you have the job description, look through it, you will see relevant skills that are needed, that are necessary for the specific job. If you have those necessary skills, you can include this in your resume. But please, if you don't have these necessary skills, don't lie on your resume. Please don't do that. Because once you rely on your resume and, by adventure, you get the job, then you won't be able to defend yourself. They will believe you have this skill already. And once you get there, to be a disappointment on your part. Now, moving forward. Now, certifications and tech tools. Another important thing you need to include in your resume, you need to include the degrees. Your degrees, be it a bachelor's degree, be it a master's degree, you need to include this in your resume. Make sure it is included in the education and training section. Now, certifications, yes, that's very important. Don't skip that part. Always make sure you include all your relevant certifications to your resume. Now, the tools you make use of, the tools you are conversant with, make sure you include this in your resume. List tools based on what the job description requires, yes. But on this part, please don't lie on your resume. If you know you don't have these tools, if you know you're not conversant with these tools, please don't use it. Don't lie on your resume, because it will later affect you in the future. Moving forward. Formatting that works, yes. A resume, as I said earlier, should be 1 to 2 pages maximum. If your resume is more than 2 pages, then you are on the losing side. Now, I said something earlier. I said there's a difference between a resume and a CV. A resume it cannot be more than 2 pages, but a CV can be up to 10 pages. Now, let me briefly explain the difference between a resume and a CV. A resume is just a quick summary of a particular section of your profile experience, of your professional experience, while a CV can consist of your different experience from different sections. Do you understand that? So it can consist of different experience from different sections. Let me give you an example. Now, in a CV, let's say, for example, as I am a resume writer and a job strategist. Now, let's say before that, I was working in a restaurant and I'm a bartender. So now, as a bartender, I can add this to my CV. That's okay. From year this to year that, I was a bartender. From year this to year that, I was a sales analyst. You can jump pack different industry under a CV, but under a resume, you can only put one particular professional experience under a resume. You can't jump pack more than one professional experience under a resume. So, yeah, use professional fonts. I would recommend you use Times New Roman for your resume. You can use Times New Roman as a professional font for your resume. You can use Arial. You can use Calibri, as you have it on the screen here. So those are the 3 fonts that I recommend you use for your resume. Now, bold headers. Your headers must be bold in black. Your headers must be bold. Let's say, for example, you have the name. The name should be the largest part of your resume. It should be very bold at the top. Then you have the profile summary. It should be bold. You have the experience. It should be bold. You have the certification, education. You have the skills. Your skills, you can split it to 2. You can split it to your core skills, and you can split it to technical skills. Your core skills include stuff like leadership and the likes, while your technical skills include your let's say, Agile, Scrum Master, PMP, certified PMP, and the likes. Now, Highlight results, yes. Your results in your resume. What you can do to your results is, let's say, for example, you have managed, let's say, 80% team, whatever. Sorry about that. So now that 80%, like that part, that quantifiable achievements, you can bolden it. You can bolden that part so that once the ACS system is going through your resume, it will be able to highlight those parts. Because what ATS, applicant tracking system, what it is dealing with mostly, and what will help you in your resume is the quantifiable part of your resume. That's what's really going to help you. And now avoid cluster walls of text. Now, once you're writing your resume, please don't jam pack it together. Our advice for you not to jam pack it together. Once you see that your resume is more than 2 pages, you can just try and shorten the bullet points under each experience. Once you shorten it, then you go through it again and check if it is more than 2 pages to know what else you can remove from the experiences. Now, proofread thoroughly. Grammar matters. Yes, this is where most people make mistake, because once they write their resume, they don't go through it, they don't look for mistakes. Now, with the help of AI, you can go through your resume. We have different things you can use to go through your resume. We have this tool called Grammarly. I'm very sure you are all familiar with Grammarly. So you can use Grammarly to check through your contents to see if you have made any spelling errors. You can also check for punctuation errors in your resume. Please make sure you do that before using your resume for any job application. Moving forward. So now, what to avoid? Number one, you have to avoid generic one-size-fits-all CV. Now, I mentioned that earlier. I said your resume doesn't have to fit all to every industry you've worked in. Let's say, for example, you've worked in, let's say, customer service industry, then you've worked in project management industry, you've worked in the medical industry. You know, that's 3 industries now, right? Now, you are trying to jam pack it into one resume. Please don't do that. Once you do that, your resume is no longer a resume. Your resume is already a CV. And a CV, I told you earlier, a CV is a connection between all your job experience. Your CV can consist of any job field. That's what a CV is. But your resume, this can only consist of one job field. And it's the one you are applying for. So now, no numbers or results. Yeah, about this part, I think I made a mistake there. But what this part is just talking about is that the numbers or results that you are providing in your resume, don't exaggerate on it. Most people, they exaggerate on the results. Some people will be like 100%, some people will be like 90%, exaggerations. Please don't exaggerate on the results of your team performance and the likes. Don't exaggerate on the results. Be true to the results. Some people, they will be like, I manage a $10 million, blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. Don't exaggerate on it. Work based on what you can defend, because it is very important, because once you are employed, they will give you tax that is based on your resume. So please don't work based on formulation of keyword of quantifiable values, because it will affect you. Now, overly long and worldly. Now, I said something earlier in the profile summary. I said your profile summary should be 3 to 4 lines, and some people, they have profile summaries that takes up to half a page in the resume. So that's not advisable. Once your profile summary is more than 3 to 4 lines, then your profile summary is no longer a profile summary. So you need to work on your profile summary. Make sure it's short and concise. Make sure the important information on your profile summary, well, not all, but just make sure the key parts are there. And once it is there, then there's no problem. Now, poor formatting or spelling errors. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, that we should check the formatting of our resume, and we should also check for spelling errors. You can go online, search for sites that you can use to proofread your resume. You can use Grammarly. There are other sites you can make your research, or maybe at the end of this presentation, if any of you wants to contact me, you can also contact me for more information. So we'll get to that, no problem. So no keywords for ATS. Yeah, this part. Now, what this part simply means is that don't depend solely on AI to generate all your contents. Yes, because if you depend solely on AI to generate keywords for you, then there will be a problem. You can also make use of Google search engine to make your research. I'm very sure you are conversant with the role you are going for. So just know the keywords. Let me give you examples of keywords in a project management resume. Now, the number one thing that I expect to see in a project management resume is project. That's the first thing. Once I see project, then you are good to go. Once I see team, definitely you are good to go. So those two, they are one of the most important keywords that ATS will try to look for. But don't add any other thing that is not relevant to your field. Don't do that. Because most people are saying ChatGPT can write my resume, ChatGPT can do this, ChatGPT can do that. But the point is that if you're using ChatGPT to write your resume, even ChatGPT, they always put the instruction at the end that ChatGPT can make mistake. Yes. So you have to go through it. Don't just depend on AI. Yes, we know AI is taking over, but AI is not yet perfect. Please, AI is not yet perfect. As a resume writer, as a job search strategist, I'm making use of AI, yes, but I'm also making my research and I'm also working on it. So don't depend solely on AI and think that, okay, if I use AI, then I'll be able to pass through it. Yes, AI can be of great help to you, but if you don't know these things and you just make use of ChatGPT directly, then ChatGPT will generate whatever it can generate and give it to you. And you use it to apply for jobs, then you'll be complaining that my resume, blah, 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 So please don't depend solely on AI. I know most people are saying, as a resume writer, I don't need the resume writer, I have AI. AI can do the job. But no, even I, as a resume writer, yes, I proudly accept AI. Yes, because AI is helping my work. AI is helping my work, yes. But you can't depend solely on AI. So please just try as much as possible. Well, don't see this as a form of advertisement, it's just a form of advice. So just try as much as possible to make your research very well once you're writing your resume. So now, always tailor your CV. Resume. Always tailor your resume to each role. Now, what this means is that once you're applying every role that you're applying for, make sure you tailor your CV to that particular role. Don't just generalize on, okay, I'm a project manager. So, there are different sectors under project management. So make sure that you tailor your CV to each role. Most people will be like, okay, you're telling me to tailor my resume to each role, that will give me money. Yes, definitely to give me money. To give me money, because once you bring the CV, the resume to me, definitely I'll charge you. Yes. But it's advisable for you to tailor your resume to each role that you're applying for. That's why I said there's a difference between a resume and a CV. A CV, you can just, you can create a CV today and you keep editing it and editing it and editing it and editing it. Yes, you can keep editing a CV because a CV is just a proof of all your professional experience. But a resume, you can have thousands of resumes depending on how many job roles you apply for. So you can have a lot of resumes, even on your PC. You can have a lot of resumes that you used to apply for. So don't think that once you have a particular resume, you can use a particular resume to apply for every job role you are seeking for. No. One resume per job application. One resume per job application. So moving forward. Yeah, so final tips. Customize for every job role. I already explained that. That's one resume per each job role you're applying for. Although it sounds selfish coming from a resume writer because you'll be like, okay, it will favor my business. Yes, it will favor my business, but it's just a great advice for you. I'm just trying to advise you guys. That's one resume per each job role if you want to be on the safer side. Keep it clean, result driven. Yes, make sure your resume is clean and neat. Just make it clean and neat. Don't make it fancy and stuff. Although I have clients who tell me they want their resume to be fancy, then I'll now advise them that, okay, because most clients, they believe that whatever they want is what I should deliver to them. So I'll tell them that, okay, I'll do it in two ways for you. I will do it in the way that I advise you to use it. Then I'll do it the way you want. Then I'll tell them to make use of both of them. And most of them, when they get back to me, they tell me that the one I did, the one that I advised them to use was the one they used to get their jobs, But the one that they really wanted, the one that was beautiful and all that, did not really get them a job role. So I'll be like, okay, I told you, but I just decided to do both for you so that you see the difference. Because most people, they don't really see the importance of all the things I'm talking about because they believe AI can do everything for them and, the likes. Now, align LinkedIn with your CV. What I mean here is if you have a if you have a LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn is a professional platform for visibility. Even most of the people here today, I met them on LinkedIn. Kudos to LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a professional platform. So make sure your LinkedIn is very beautiful. Make sure it is tailored the way your resume is. If you are a project manager, include it that you are a project manager. If you're a resume writer, job, whatever, include it there. Make sure that what you are doing is the main focus of your LinkedIn profile. Because most of the time, once all these recruiters, let's say peradventure you get through ATS and these recruiters, they go through your resume, the next thing most of them will say is, can we have a look at your LinkedIn profile? Or let's say peradventure you attach this to your resume, they'll click on it and they'll look through it. So they'll look at the things you are posting there. And the funny thing is, most people, when they use LinkedIn, I think LinkedIn is already becoming Facebook or something. Because I notice most people, they post funny stuff on LinkedIn. I know it is good, but LinkedIn is a professional site. It's not meant for fun things. And although fun can be included in work, but it's not solely for that. LinkedIn is based on, everybody, we have our own target on LinkedIn. My target as a resume writer and a job strategist on LinkedIn is to find clients, that need their resumes to be revamped. My major thing is that I want to share tips to people. I want to elevate my brand. I want to elevate my brand for visibility. I want to open chances, and the likes. So I hope with all I've said, I hope you've gained one or two from this special seminar. So now, if you have any question, Majana, if you have any question, Ivan, Mahesh, if you have any question, you can ask me now. I'm open to questions.
Yeah, Paul, thanks for the tips. Yes,
Yeah.
I will tell you what I do.
Okay.
I have two types of CVs.
Okay.
One, if I know that it will be read by an ATS,
okay,
I sent a CV much like you described. But there is another instance when I get a request from my network in LinkedIn, or my some friend or some ex-colleague, then I know that it will not pass through an ATS. It will be read directly from the responsible to hire me. Then I can send a resume more fancy, as you say, more visually impacting.
Okay.
So, what do you think about it?
Well, now you said, maybe the instance you made, I think what you need to send to them, like that instance you made, that a friend requested your CV or something like that. Am I correct? Ivan, am I correct?
Please repeat. I didn't understand.
Okay. You said an instance that a friend requested for your CV.
Yes.
On LinkedIn. Okay, now, one thing I want you to know is there's another thing that we call cover letter. So that cover letter is just like a short summary of your job experience. So in that instance, when your friend requested for your CV, you can just send your cover letter to that type of person. You understand? Let's say your friend is trying to help you. Maybe he sees a job placement outside somewhere. You can just ask your friend to copy the job description to you. Then you can have like let's say a cover letter. You can make a cover letter based on that and send it to him. Or if you would like to go through extra means, you can just generate a resume for that job description. I said it earlier that once I'm working with my clients, I always ask them to send the job description to me. So you can just tell your friend to send the job description to you. I think it's like a job placement. So you can just tell your friend to send the job description to you. But if your friend is just trying to like ask for your, what should I say? Just ask for your profile summary. You can send a CV to such friend. But if your friend is trying to help you apply, or maybe he's trying to recommend you to a company, then you can either send a cover letter or a resume. I hope that helps. Okay, so
I used to send not a cover letter.
Okay.
Instead, I sent the content of it will be a cover letter within the email that is the curriculum attached. So some people tell me, oh, send me your resume by this electronic mail. And in the electronic mail, I attach the CV, but I use the content of the email as a cover letter.
Well, I won't actually advise you consider doing that. I think you have to, the same way a resume is customized for every job. That's the same way a cover letter is also customized for every job. You understand? So you need to customize your cover letter for that particular reason. It's also the same thing with your resume. So that should help.
Okay.
If you have any other question, you can ask me. Rob, I think you have a question. You can ask your question.
I don't. Hi everyone. Sorry for being late, but having breakfast. I agree with Ivan. Indeed, you need to tailor your resume for every single interviewer, and you have to be very aware who is going to receive this resume on the first hand, right? I agree 100% with Ivan. At least it works like that in Peru. And I'm think it works everywhere the same. If you know that your resume is going to be the reception is going to be in charge of a bot that will be guided by the specific rules it has, like match our requirement and the keywords, then use AI. Use AI and try, I don't know, maybe you can ask the model, give me a resume 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. So, and you make those products, those outcomes be compared by the same bot or by another one, right? You say, for example, you say resume 1, resume 2, resume 3. None of them has been done by you. It's been done by ChatGPT, Gemini, or whatever you prefer. As far as now, for me, ChatGPT is right now, even the free version is a better one for now. I'm also trying to try 𝗏𝗃𝗃 and Quen. And after the boss said, this makes the perfect match, but against what? Against the profile you have, against the job profile you're applying to. And it's also good not only to copy and paste, it's a good idea also to copy and paste the link of the position, especially if it's taken directly from a company, not from LinkedIn. So you also can ask the model and read the profile, read the vision, read the mission of the company. I mean, you give the model all the context you have, right? So the model will give you the best possible option. But when it comes to send your resume to your friend Robinson or to your friend Marhana or to your friend Paul, it's different, right? You don't have to worry too much about that, right? You have to try to make up a little bit more maybe, and maybe say more of what you're capable of do, right? So you somehow impress your friend who wants to be impressed with your fancy resume, right? I never send a cover letter to my friends. When somebody asks me directly for a resume, I never send a cover letter, but I do send a cover letter when I apply to a big global company. And I make the profile, the resume match with the cover letter, right? To complement the cover letter should complement my resume. I'm not going to put and paste the same thing because I'm saying the same in 2 documents. That's a bad idea, right? Because probably a model will say, oh, avoid those resumes that have the same content that the cover letter. So I have to tell the model, complement my resume with a good cover and concise cover letter. So you have 2 documents that match and enhances the possibility of getting hired. Because both documents say include enough keywords. So the board will say, oh, that's a good candidate. Okay, pass. You pass the first big filter, and then probably that will go to a human who will review. And the human will say, well, the bot says Ivan is a good candidate, right? So I'm going to consider him among the other, I don't know, 100 or 1,000 candidates. That's my humble opinion, right? The job I got now after 1 year, 12 months, I didn't contact the company myself. The curiosity is that I have applied before to the company and they never answered back. And then what did I did? I found that the company I'm working on has a client, an energy company client. So I talked to a friend in that company and I told him, I noticed that your company is a client of Ayesa, and I know that you are going to migrate system and blah, 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 blah. I am not asking you to send my resume to the HR department in your company. Can you talk to your provider to consider my profile? And he told me, of course, Rob, of course. And he sent my resume, right? With a little, hey, try this guy. And I just needed 1 session to negotiate and convince this guy that I was the man for the job, right? I know I was getting into a very defiant role because it's a migration. We have maybe the 50% of the time we should have, but it is what it is, right? So I use a lot of non-verbal communication, like eye-to-eye contact. Do you remember 𝗃𝗁𝗃𝗵 when he said, don't look that way, don't talk this way? Yeah. Do you remember? Well, if you didn't attend, I suggest you to review the video, right? The guy is an expert in that. And I'm not going to argue with 𝗃𝗁𝗃𝗵. If he said that, it's because it works. It have worked and it will work. So I keep my eye to him. I use my hand like this, you know, like this. I have nothing to hide. And when he told me, I talk a lot about creating a safe environment to expose ideas and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And he told me, what do you do when you find one of those guys who doesn't want to obey, who doesn't take orders, who doesn't? Because he told me, I see you have a lot of soft skills. And I told him, you know what? I was a guy who was ready to kick somebody. But time showed me that I have to switch to a more leadership involvement approach. That's from my side, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bob. Yes, I'd just like to talk a little bit about what you said. But I'd like you to understand maybe some few things about what you said. Now, you said the company you are currently working in, that they are in partnership with an energy company, something like that, and you had a connection there. Now, one thing I want you to understand is you had a connection. You were given the opportunity. So now what you use is, I won't say you didn't enter based on your qualification. Yes, you entered based on your qualification, but you were given an advantage over other job applicants. Other job applicants, I can't really say everybody who applied for a job role in that company had the type of connection you had. You understand? So most of the time, they don't have the advantage you have. So definitely they have to go extra miles. They have to work extra to get to where, they will get to. Now, let's take my case, for example. I'm not the only resume writer or job strategist that can, work on something like this, that can work on a seminar like this. But because, fortunately for me, I met Marjana and she saw that, okay, this is what I'm doing. Then that's what gave me the connection, to be here with you guys today. So that's based on connection, and it's just like, what should I call it? It's like a hack. Life gave you a hack, an easy way. I'm not really saying this is really an easy way because you still have to prove yourself, yes. But, you were given an advantage. But for people, like, let's say, for example, let's assume you didn't have an advantage in that energy company, you didn't have a friend there. Your chance of getting the job, it will be lower. Not like you won't be able to get the job, because yes, I'm very sure you're a professional at what you do and you have the confidence, definitely. But your chance of getting a job to that company will be lower because you don't have any connection there. But due to connection, it's helped you, it's gave you the morale, it's gave you the confidence, to apply directly to the company. Like the way you applied now, I'm very sure, number one, your resume did not pass through ATS. And yeah, thank God you said it. You said you've already applied to the company before and you didn't get a response. I'm very sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm very sure maybe peradventure your resume passed through ATS and it was not up to the standard. So that's why they had to drop you. And we are advancing, so there's nothing you can do about it. But I liked what you said. It means that networking is good for us. So I advise you guys that you should network with people. Networking will help a lot. Yeah, it will help a lot. So yeah, I respect what you said and I really appreciate it. And concerning the part of using AI, yes, I already said it in the beginning that AI is a big part of my work. Without AI, I won't be able to, do most of these things. Even, don't let us lie, even this presentation, it was done with the aid of an AI. So almost everything we are doing now is based on AI because AI makes work faster. I told Marjana that I won't be available to take this seminar today, this recording, but because of AI, I had some extra minutes to work on it and do everything I want to do. So yeah, AI is very important. Yes, I agree. But human intervention in using AI is also important because yes, you have the experience of using AI, but not everybody has that experience. AI and prompts is a course on its own. How to prompt AI is also a course on its own. It's like if you go online, it's a course on its own. How to prompt AI. Not everybody knows how to prompt AI. If you give ChatGPT to some people that they should, prompt something, let's say prompt how to do this, how to do that, they won't be able to do it. And you will notice something. We can even try one of this time. If, let's say, the two of us, you are given a project to work on, and, we are given a project to work on, the outcome of our projects using AI will be different. One will definitely be better than the other because, one has experience more than the other. So now, what you said is based on networking, and I'm like 90% sure that the way you got your job was through networking, and it's very good. It's very advisable. It's like a cheat code. Yes, it's very good and very advisable. But what I'm trying to say is that not everybody has the advantage. Not everybody has the leverage that you have. Not everybody has that leverage. Not everybody has the what should I call it? The knowledge that you have. And yes, not everybody has the confidence that you have. Because confidence is part of this thing. So to do something, even in some interviews, if you go for some interviews, it's based on, sometimes it's not really based on what you know, it's based on your confidence. Even if you are saying something that's not really, they just want to test your confidence in some interviews. I've been to one like that. And what the man told me that I don't really know what's like, I'm not really sure of what I'm saying, but like, how should I put it? My confidence overshadowed it. Like, if you have confidence in yourself that, okay, what I'm saying, I believe in it, definitely confidence is also a key aspect. And I see in you, Rob, I see it in you that you have confidence in what you are doing. Yes, but not everybody has the confidence. And yeah, people need to work on that a lot. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you for what you said. Yes. And yeah, that's a big point. So if anybody has any other question, you can ask. No problem.